Good Sunday evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I'm the host for South Carolina Weather, Justin Peterson, and hopefully y'all had a great weekend. It is time for us to get back into the work week for school, work, or whatever you have to do. I just want to say this before I get started that we did hit 25 subscribers yesterday, last night. I'm pretty sure it was. So, I would just like to give a thank you for that. And that we're halfway there to 50, and we are a quarter of the way there to 100. So we're just gonna keep on going, and we're gonna make it there. So let's go ahead and continue. So looking at the radar for right now, South Carolina is looking to be pretty good right now. No precipitation is falling near us right now, even though we do have some showers off to the coast of us, but they're not really going to impact us anyway. Down here in Florida, we do have some severe weather and some strong storms down there right now. Those will skedaddle and we'll get out of there eventually. And then we have this kind of like this rotating storm right here. You have the low pressure right here. You have the rain bands right there. You have the snow on the backside. That is a very clear low pressure. And then we have that huge amounts of snow with potential blizzard-like conditions on the mountains inside of California and bringing heavy rain as well. So, snow and rain inside the west, this huge system out here in the north central U.S., south central, the Great Lakes region, the Midwest, the eastern. Well, I'm not going to say mostly eastern, but I'm going to say that from South Carolina all the way up north, looking pretty good. And then that's about it for current conditions right now. Let's go ahead and look at the current temperatures. Cloud cover. My bad. Cloud cover. Cloud cover right now is we do have cloud cover over there in Myrtle Beach, Conway, Loris, Florence, places like that. There is cloud cover over there right now, but you may see the blues on the map. I talked about this last night. I'm pretty sure what it was where I said that this is either low clouds or it's fog, and I know that fog is supposed to develop tonight, and I will show y'all that because that is very, very important to talk about. And this fog will go into the low country, the coastal regions, and it will be pretty dangerous driving tonight. So if you do have to drive somewhere early tomorrow morning, like around like the early morning hours, please make sure that you watch out for this fog as it's entering western South Carolina right now. Here are our current conditions right now. Current condition 57 in Walhalla, 57 in Greenville, 55 in Anderson, 59 in Greenwood, 61 in Newburgh, 62 in Columbia, 64 in Sumter, 64 in Florence, 61 in Bennettsville, 61 in Loris, 59 in Myrtle Beach, 59 in Georgetown, 59 in Charleston, 61 in Beaufort, 61 in Savannah, 62 in Augusta, and 64 in Orangeburg. So that is our current temperatures right now. If we go on ahead and go on to the minimum temperatures for tonight, minimum temperatures can get around 55 in Columbia, 56 in Florence, 56 in Sumter, 55 in Florence, 57 in Myrtle Beach. These going to be around 59 inside of Charleston, and 55 near Augusta, 52 up there in the upstate. So that is the minimum temperatures for tonight. Looking at the max wind gusts for the next 24 hours. Max wind gusts can get to around 10 to 15 miles per hour throughout most of the next 24 hours, but this ends at 2 p.m., so let's go ahead and refresh that. So, refresh doesn't really change much. Wind gusts 10 to 15 miles an hour throughout most of the state going to tonight into tomorrow as well, so no wind is really expected. We do have a couple of traces of precipitation, as that's not updated either. Wow. Okay. Interesting. But we do have a potential for some precipitation to fall inside of Myrtle Beach. But I'm not looking at anything to be widespread, just a potential tenth of an inch of rain that could fall inside of Myrtle Beach. And that's all we're really watching. But there's a chance that this doesn't fall. You know, models are always wrong, or sometimes wrong. I'm not gonna say they're always wrong, but they're sometimes wrong. and they can easily confuse you. And you may think, oh well, um, it doesn't mean that anyone's perfect. It just happens, and that's just what models are there for. They're there to show us potentially what happened, not actually what happens. But let's go ahead and look at the precipitation for the next 18 hours. So if we go ahead and look at this, I'm going to close out that, push this forward. Again, the like models like the ARRR is not showing any rain for Myrtle Beach at all. So again, even though it does say that precipitation is expected, some might not even fall. But here's the NAM 3 kilometer, which is a bit more. I'd say kind of a bit more laid back, kind of a bit more, kind of like pushed. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not gonna actually. Laid back is the wrong type of word. I should say the NAM 3 kilometer model is way more like aggressive. That's what I want. That's what I want to say. It's definitely more aggressive, and since this has not been updated since around 2 o'clock, it shows rain for the Low Country going into the PD region of South Carolina. Here we go, around 8 o'clock, and you can all see this weird system off the coast of South Carolina it's rotating. It's bringing some strong thunderstorms out there to the coast. May even try to bring some strong storms to North Carolina. And then we're watching for that severe weather inside of Louisiana and the deep south. That's gonna push east, and then it's gonna bring us that rain. We potentially could watch for some type of severe weather, but I'm not really looking at it right now too hard. I'm focused on the future, which I will show y'all later. But let's go ahead and talk about the SPC. So here we go. We have a day one marginal risk of severe weather. This does include Miami, Hialeah, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and Pembroke Pines. So that is for Florida for tonight, mainly for hail though. Wind is not really a threat. Tornadoes is not really a threat for tonight. But I am watching for tomorrow. Here's our marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow. We do have a 2% risk of tornadoes for Madison, Aurora, Rockford, Naperville, and Elgin, Illinois. That 5% chance of wind for Chicago, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin, Texas. And then we have another 5% chance for hail for Chicago, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin, Texas. So if you know anybody from Chicago down through Peoria, Springfield, Hannibal, St. Louis, Jefferson, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, Little Rock, Arkansas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lufkin, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. I mean, a lot of cities that most of us should know. Please let them know that they're under the gun for some severe weather tomorrow. Even they may even go all the way up into Milwaukee as well. So if you know anybody up there in Milwaukee as well, let them know about that. Now, I did in fact make my own, kind of like my own severe weather threat for tomorrow, and I did actually make a little. It's not official. It's not official at all, but it is indeed something that I do want to start doing once we get severe weathers like this. So let's go ahead and navigate over to my Twitter real quick. If we go ahead and look at scene 2, here we go. This is my unofficial. This is not SPC approved. This is not meteorology approved, quote unquote. But here is my outlook for tomorrow, for 3/4/2024. I do have a marginal risk as well for most of the same areas, but I do think that there's a chance that more storms could start developing inside of southern Louisiana, and I do believe that potential for a slight risk for tomorrow is definitely possible. So I am watching tomorrow for sure, especially for southern Louisiana. Again, I just think that the wind and hail potential could definitely spike up in that region, which is why I have this slight risk of severe weather for Louisiana. But that is my prediction. This is not nobody else's prediction. This is my prediction. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's go ahead and talk about not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, or day 3. We do have another marginal risk for New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, and Pasadena, Texas. So we're gonna have to watch for marginally severe storms tomorrow, mainly for all of Louisiana as well. And then definitely we're gonna have to watch for clusters of thunderstorms. Seems like from what I'm looking at, looks to be like they don't really have actually what they think. So yeah, just strong to locally severe, and yeah, that's what they're watching for. They don't have yet what they think. Oh yeah, right here. Occasionally strong to damaging winds and perhaps isolated severe hail may occur. So watching for wind and hail for this region. So we're gonna have to watch for that. And I'll have my probably talk about that tomorrow. And probably will have my own unofficial forecast for this area as well. So let's go on ahead and continue to talk about excessive rainfall. We do have an excessive rainfall outlook for mainly nobody. That's pretty much what it is. Nobody. We have day one. We have no day one excessive rainfall outlook for today and tonight. For tomorrow, we do have that marginal risk of excessive rainfall for Louisiana and Mississippi, and then we do have a day 3 that does extend all the way to northern South Carolina. So if you're inside the upstate of South Carolina, please watch out for some potential flash flooding on Tuesday. So that is for that. We can go even 72 hours out. And this is the next 72 hours. A potential for a good 2 to 2.5, maybe isolated 3 inches of rain could fall inside the upstate, but everyone else around an inch or 2 could fall. So definitely gonna have to watch out for some heavy rainfall again. So this is not over. We're gonna get multiple rounds probably. So we're gonna have to go through this round, and there's another one coming right after this one. And when will the rain start? Rain will probably start, I'd say Tuesday night going into Wednesday is definitely when I think the rain will start. The heavy rain especially. So there we go. Let's go to the day 1, and here's our winter storm impacts. We don't have any winter storm impacts for South Carolina. Obviously, there's just nothing. Obviously, and now let's go ahead and talk about the SPC and the CRPS and the CSU model as well. And if we go ahead and go to scene 2, obviously we have that hail risk, and then we do have tomorrow's risk, which I've already showed, but we don't need to show it. Here's day 3. Both the CIPS and the CSU is showing potential for a slight risk to be added for day 3. The SPC's not buying it though, not yet. Here's day 4, which I'm watching very, very closely for South Carolina, because the CSU, which is usually on the high end, really only has a marginal risk. But if you go to the CIPS, which is a more kind of like in the middle, kind of like in between, while the SPC is conservative, the CIPS is actually showing a potential for a marginal risk that goes from southern Florida all the way up through pretty much, or I should say a slight risk that goes from Florida all the way up into North Carolina, and then an enhanced risk for Georgia, and seems to be for like southern South Carolina. So watching that specifically. Now, obviously, slight and enhanced. That's just the colors for them. It's not It's not really slight and enhanced. That's just how the SPC does theirs. But the orange here is a 15% risk for severe weather, and then the yellow is a 10%. So, still far out. And then day 6, obviously, we have to watch really closely for day 6, because day 6, we do have a red now, which is very interesting. So we're going to have to watch for day 6. It really looks like to be a hot spot for Alabama. So that is that for our severe weather. Now let's go on ahead and talk about our excessive rainfall. So if we go to the CSU MLP severe, and the excessive rainfall, we put this forward, and if we go home to the excessive rainfall, and this usually go to the previous day. So this is for today. Obviously, if we go to the 1 to 2 day panels, obviously no excessive rainfall is really expected. I mean, maybe a little bit for Wyoming and kind of like Colorado over here, but it's really tomorrow that we're watching for that excessive rainfall. For the ARI thinks that we get that excessive rainfall all the way through to Louisiana, Texas. Same thing with this one with the UFVS, which pushed a marginal risk for Texas, and then we do have that marginal risk from the actual Weather Prediction Center, the experts themselves, that give a marginal risk for Louisiana and Mississippi. If we go on ahead and move on to the GEFS, so here's the day 1, the day 2, which is tomorrow, the day 3, which kind of moves a bit more eastward, the day 4, which moves even more eastward, but gives us a day 4 for kind of like New England, a day 5, which gives us a pretty much a chance for excessive rainfall for Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana. And then once we get to our day 6, seems like they think that a potential slight risk could be issued for Alabama. Day 7, a slight risk and a marginal risk could be issued for South Carolina for day 7. So day 7, I believe, is a week from now, because day 1's today, day 2's tomorrow. Yeah, so Sunday of next week on March the 10th, I believe this is. Or no, this is March the 12th. I'm sorry. I think that's March the 12th. The 10th. No, that's the 10th. Okay. It has 10, 12, and 12 is the hour. I saw the 12, and I thought it was the date 12. But no, this is on the 10th of March. Definitely gonna have to watch for some flash flooding on that day. And then if we go to day 8, nothing there. And then you have the UFVS, which we're just gonna skip all that and go straight to day 6 and see what they have. Honestly, kind of the same thing, but a bit more conservative, saying that the slight risk is going to be pushed more further westward, and the marginal risk is going to be pushed further westward. Day 7, not kind of move more eastward. Day 8, not really anything. So we're watching for flash flooding and severe weather. They're coming back. It's officially severe weather season. Y'all know March the 1st, severe weather season started. Spring started. March started, the luckiest month. So maybe that luck can come into effect. But let's go on ahead and move on to the GFS. And if we push this forward, you can see that heavy rain coming through with potential severe weather for Louisiana and places up there like Chicago going down towards Dallas. And then that's going to bring us that heavy rainfall that we were talking about. And then here goes this flash flooding event that we're watching for. This little event right here, this is what we're watching for flash flooding related purposes on March the 9th going through the 10th as well. And then we push that forward some more, and then we have another huge boundary and another huge system try to come out the Atlantic, producing potential severe weather. This is 300 hours out, so this is La La Land. But I mean, look at these snow conditions on the backside. I mean, that would bring heavy snow and gusty winds to places like Missouri, Illinois, Chicago, Indiana, Ohio Valley, places like that. And then and then that's pretty much all there is. Of course, the West is getting hit by their atmospheric rivers as they usually do. So nothing new for them. Rockies getting snow as they usually do, and the Northeast getting snow seems to be on March the 11th. And that's pretty much that. So thank you all so much for watching this forecast update. This was around 20 minutes. This might be my longest video yet. I'm not quite sure if it is my longest video yet. But as of right now, I think this video right here is my longest yet. So, and we're also getting closer. I think, yeah, we are. We're getting closer to, I think, 100 videos. So this will be my 89th video. Tomorrow morning's video will be my 90th video. And then we'll just have to get through 5 more days and we will make it to 100. So I'm thinking about things that I can do for my 100th forecast update. I'm not sure though, but I will be thinking about that. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning with another forecast update.